I dried in the roof to my off-grid cabin just yesterday, and today I'm going to focus on beams and rafters for the deck so I can get the deck roof dried in as well. You see, I've got rafters on one side and I've got 3 more sides to do. So the other day I simply had rafters on the roof, and I just sat there and brought up 2x8s. And I want to remind you, you see how it's not perfectly even. I bought the less desirable wood. I saved a ton of money that way, but taking my time and being careful to put them together accordingly made it possible for me to have a nice roof for less money. And so I'm up top right now. You can see as I laid the 2x8s, they're almost 2 feet over on both ends. And that's just the way that it worked out to center them on the studs. So I'm snapping a line along the true edge of the roof, and then I'm going to cut all of that overhang off with the chainsaw. Saturday morning. Saturday. My fingers still hurt. I had to pound in those hardware nails for all the hangers and for all those brackets, and God, they hurt. I just been trying to be careful not to hammer too much, but yesterday I finished drying in the roof of the cabin, the main roof. Today I can put up some more beams and rafters on the deck. So I've done one side of beams and rafters for the deck. I've got 3 more sides to do, and today I'll hopefully get at least one of those. I think that'll really help paint a clearer picture of what the cabin will look like. I know a lot of people have a hard time envisioning something until it's there, especially if they don't have any construction experience. So this you know, the next upcoming video will probably help paint that picture a little better, but I've got to get to work on that. And and I also yesterday, you know, when I was getting ready for the roof, I did some more shearing. So I actually put a lot more 2x8s up on the sides of the cabin to make sure that the cabin was quite sheer while I was roofing. And so I have enough wood to do beams and rafters for the deck roof, and I didn't get around to the main deck yet. So I'll have to order more wood, and we'll get to work on that as soon as I can. I can see Ginger out here waiting for me to come out there and feed her, so I better get going. But well, we'll get back to the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. It's my diesel air heater, guys. The last few videos I've been inside narrating videos because it's just so cold out, so you can hear the fuel pump on my diesel air heater. I do know how they work, and thank you for all of the input. And when the cabin's finished, guys, you probably won't have to hear one again, and I'm just so sorry about it. So once the 2x8s were all in place and I cut the ends off, here I am snapping the line and cutting the ends off of the other side. And then of course I nailed these all by hand originally because I only had 16 penny nails and my hammer, and thankfully some of you guys sent in a couple boxes of the 16 penny, the framing nails for my nail gun. So then I went back and put 2 nails, at least 2 nails in every single rafter, every 2 feet on every 2x8 to just make sure everything's very secure. You see there's a little bit of maybe fungus, maybe a little bit of mold on some of the wood. Like I have said throughout the build, I've bought the less desirable wood, so it gets stacked and palleted, and you know, it's more prone to get a little bit of rain on it and seeding and whatnot, but it's really not a big deal. I can scrape that a little bit and then spray it with some vinegar and bleach, and poof, it's perfectly fine. Imagine building yourself a cabin in the 1800s and having the ability to just get nicely sawn lumber like this. You'd be pretty grateful, and so it's just really not that big of a deal. A few people said, gosh, it's going to be pretty scary up there on the roof, and I knew in advance that I wouldn't be scared up here really. Mostly because at this point it's quite secure. And so the most hairy part is actually like assembling the beams and throwing the rafters up there, and maybe the first time you climb up to start laying down boards. But as soon as you get a couple boards up there, it's pretty comfortable. Everything's quite sheer, and here I am hanging off the edge of the roof, and it's a long way down. You sure wouldn't want to fall. But it's not that bad. I feel quite comfortable just hanging off the edge of the roof and cutting this last 2x8. With all of the boards cut and the roof is finished as far as 2x8s are concerned, I just need to go around and make sure to fasten every single one of them. And you know, like I said, it's less desirable wood, so there's bends and kinks and curves and twists in them, and I was just careful to lay them the best way that I could.
Hey, enough. Hey, enough. Now. Hey, now. That's enough. Enough. Come here, Stitch. Leave him alone.
Any of them that are more curved than others, that are just kind of sitting out of place, I might put a couple more nails in them to flatten them out to the best of my ability. Someone was nice enough to send in a new magazine for my nail gun because I bent my nail gun, and I spent a lot of time straightening it out, but I just can't get it any better than it is. It works, but it's a real pain in the ass. And so someone sent in a new one, but it's not the right one. And I sent out an email to the few people I think sent it in hopes of them sending me the postage so that they can return it, send me the postage, and then I can return the package so you guys can get a refund for that, because I'm not going to be able to use it. But so here I am, you know, just making the nail gun work. From this angle, you can probably see a little easier. You know, I snapped a line, and then I drag the chainsaw down the line to make sure, you know, I'm marking the clean cut. And then the easiest way to cut is to rotate up, just like you would when you cut any other lumber or logs. And so that's how I'm working my way through it. I've built the entire cabin using this chainsaw. I never touched it with any kind of saw other than this one. Hanging off of this lower corner is definitely more hairy than the top corner, because you could more easily slide off the edge here and there's sawdust all over the place. So I was just being really careful, and that's why here I am cutting with my left hand so that I can get the safest angle to cut these boards off. So the next step after all of this is done, you know, I'm putting down tar paper or felt paper, then I'll put down a layer of insulation, then I'll put down more tar paper, and then I need to put down probably battens and then metal roofing. Putting down the battens will give, you know, at least an inch of space between the insulation and the metal, which should prevent any condensation, and it also increases the R value of the insulation. If the county wasn't involved with the build of my cabin, I would probably just take my solar panels and piece them together on the roof, and then caulk all of the seams, and then put roofing, waterproof tape over the edges, and make a perfectly sealed roof out of just solid solar panels. But I don't think that they'd be happy with that. So here's the complete roof, just 2x8s, pretty clean if I don't say so myself. And then I just laid out the tar paper one row at a time until it's all completely overlapped like you would shingles. That way no water can get in. Okay guys, the sun is up and it's just about time for me to get back to work on the homestead. Check out my website if you'd like to help me out with my cabin. There's a link below, and I'll see you soon.